Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're talking about a big Magic the Gathering scam. There's actually 3 different ones that I'm going to be talking about. To me, I think that they're a scam just because of the way that newer players will get affected by them. Veteran players are more likely to not fall for them as much, but I know that there's still some who will kind of go out there and get these, and it's just unfortunate. So with Christmas kind of coming up, a lot of players will be starting their Magic the Gathering journey. One of the best things about Magic is just building your own decks, and to do that you need cards. And of course people are going to get cards in the cheapest way possible. And there's people out there and companies out there that are really going to take advantage of this, and they appear to be helpful, but they're actually going to end up scamming you. Or it's not so much like it's a scam because it's just going to end up ripping people off because they go into it hoping and, praying, fingers crossed, oh, I'm going to hit it big. But this is the worst kind of gambling because it's the gambling where things are absolutely rigged. So we're going to go through some examples. We're going to go through maths and everything like that. But before I get into it, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you share the video around, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to hit, 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Last I checked, I think it's 77% of people who watch are not subscribed. So make sure you guys do that. We have, the news and everything like that here as soon as it kind of comes out and everything. And, Merry Christmas. I'm going to be releasing this video on Christmas. I'm going to be, at my in-laws at the moment, celebrating Christmas with my kids. So Merry Christmas to all of you guys. So what are we talking about? We're talking about 3 different products, essentially. These ones are all very similar things, but I wanted to kind of talk about them all in the same video. And they are things that, as a newer player, it's definitely something that I fell for. And, I definitely think there's other people out there who would definitely fall for them, especially when they are newer players and they go and look for how can I get more Magic. So these are 3 different things. The first is repacked booster packs. Essentially, where they take and make their own booster packs. There's also pre-built commander decks. Not talking about pre-cons from Wizards of the Coast. I'm talking about pre-cons that you go on, or pre-built decks that you'll go onto eBay and you'll find them, or Etsy or whatever, wherever you're buying your decks from. And then the last one here is instant collections. They are typically called instant collections. They will be a box and they will come with a whole bunch of goodies in them. Both and all 3 are going to brag about the amount of rares you get and, the fact that it's pre-built and you can play it out of the box, or, the amount of cards that you can get. You're going to get, 5,000 cards for only $50. Oh, wow, that must be so great. But there's a number of different things that are going to mean that you are really, really getting ripped off and honestly just not worth it. So a quick note before we get into it, these, you could find them from reputable people, right? They could be selling these in a reputable way, but the chances are really low unless they're like a huge company. But even then, it's very likely that things are not going to be worth it, because why would they sell them if they are losing money on them? And no one wants to be losing money, so therefore it's just very likely that you are not going to be getting anything of worth. So as I said, what the hell are these? Essentially, they are companies or sellers. I say companies and sellers because there's companies that do it, and then there is sellers like on eBay and stuff that do it as well. They're trying to just pass off their bulk to you. This is not even useful bulk half the time. This is like you open March of the Machine and you get a whole bunch of bulk that's to do with, say, fighting battles, which is just not going to find any use anywhere, and that's what they're passing on to you. 99% of the time, they have shifted through them before they pack them and stuff to ensure that nothing of value is within them. The chances of you getting something worthwhile are just so low, and even then it's more likely that it was either missed, so it's they put it in there and they missed it, or the value of it has gone up recently. So, something like, I don't think it even went up that much, but I was going to say Nahiri's Lithoforming when the Yuma deck came out, or, the Zur the Enchanter or something like that has not been a huge card or a great card, and then some random precon comes out and it kind of goes up a little bit, or not even to the point of Zur realistically. And this applies to all 3 decks, right? All 3 examples. The commander decks especially are just going to be filled with bulk commons, and they are not going to be worthwhile because they are going to be bulk commons that don't even necessarily work with the commander or with the rest of the deck. They're just going to be absolute trash. It is going to be the least synergistic deck you could probably put together. Instant collections are also easily going to contain multiple of the same awful rare card or same awful random common or uncommon. They put them all into a big bin and then they will pull out, 5 cards for whatever. And it could potentially be multiple of the same, especially if, they're based off of the last 3 sets. For getting random rares that are not worth much, there's not going to be a lot that is worth it in it. You're going to get multiple of the same cards potentially. So let's talk about the price of cards first, because I think that's an important thing. So all up within Magic the Gathering, there is 8,469 rares. 69% of those are worth $1 or less. And then 56% of those are worth 50 cents or less. That is, over half of them are worth less than 50 US cents. Then you get into uncommons. 8,513 in total. 90% of them are worth less than 50 cents. And then 9,561 common cards, with 96.6% of those worth less than 50 cents. This is talking about all cards dating back to the start of the game, right? There are some commons from the very start of the game that may be worth a lot more. But they're not going to be within these, because these are not going to be pulling cards from all the way back there. They're more likely going to be like the last 5 years of cards that they're pulling stuff from. And those are going to be the singles that are not selling well, or things that they have not been able to sell otherwise, that are sitting there in the trash because they are just not great. So, showing an example, for example, did you know the temples are all rares? They are 16 cents. Right? All up, you are worth 16 cents as the cheapest version of them. Yeah, there's some that are foil that are worth a bit more, but like, this is an example of just a trash rare. They're good for like bulk, like a very, like a budget deck or something like that, right? You can use them in a budget land base or something. But in a deck that's worthwhile, you're not going to be using them. And even then, like, they're printed within precons all the time now. So let's go through some examples. So here's one from an Australian company, an instant collection. It has 20 random rares with 5 random foils, and then 250 random uncommons and commons for $12.50 US. Sure, it is, a bunch of cards, right? You're getting 270 cards, but all up, the chance that this is worth more than that $12.50 US is just not going to be anywhere close to worth it. We've got this one here, which is a 1,000 Magic the Gathering cards for $57.77 US dollars. So this is on Amazon, and it doesn't even list how many rares or foils you're going to be getting. And then we have a look at the actual, like, down below the reviews. You've got people like this person, not a single land, tons of duplicates, right? And this one here, you get dozens of the same cards. You can get as many as 10 of the same cards within this 1,000. Sure, you're getting a lot of cards, right? You're getting a whole bunch of cards, but those cards are just not really worth it. Again, it's very, very likely that those cards are going to be worth absolute trash, or even if they are commons, right? Like, you might look at it and be like, oh, I'm going to fill out, I'm going to have a whole bunch of bulk there that I'll be able to build decks with. A whole bunch of commons that come out with sets are usually very restricted to that set. Even if you look at like a more recent set like Duskmourn, there is a bunch of commons in there that care about rooms. You're not going to be building like with rooms very much unless you're specifically building like a room-based deck, and that it will be like one commander deck that you will look at building for it. These are going to be good if you're just playing tabletop Magic, and even then, there is just better ways to be able to get cards for that. This one here is a random commander collection booster. So you're going to get a planeswalker within it. You're going to get 5 legendaries, and then you're going to get 25 unique rares. Now this one here is a little bit more valuable because of the fact that there is just more stuff in it, and you will get, some legendaries at least kind of guaranteed within it. But even then, if the chances that you get anything worthwhile from this is very, very unlikely. This is probably one of the higher up ones, don't get me wrong, like, higher up in potential value, but still I doubt you get anything that is worthwhile when you could potentially just get the rares that you want for $5.91. You could find a commander that you want, you could get 5 really decent commanders for $1 each, right? This one is just an instant Magic collection. As I said, this one's from eBay here. This is 500 commons, and it's $50 US, and it's got 10 rares in it. 10 rares is, oh, that is absolute freaking trash for $50 US. So let's get into the repack boosters. This one here is around $1 US, and it's got, you know, a decent 15 cards within it, but keep in mind that you're not going to get anywhere close to that in regards of value. The chances that you get a rare that is worth more than $1, worth more than probably 10 cents is very unlikely. So this is probably the worst one, I think, and it's the one that a lot of people potentially fall into, which is a custom deck. So this one here is $28 US. Now, I went through the cards within here. I don't think I saw a card that was worth more than $1 at least. Most of them are absolutely awful, including the fact that this is including, like, you know, mountains and plains and stuff. But the worst part about it is just the actual way this deck is built. So this is built around Quintoris Lawmaster. So he is, at the beginning of your end step, exile a non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard. You can then create a white spirit, red-white spirit creature token. You can then pay and sacrifice a token, sacrifice a spirit to cast one of those cards for free, and then it goes into the bottom of your library. So, you know, you expect some stuff to do with graveyards, some stuff to do with, like, spirits and stuff. But if you actually have a look at the deck, this is just built from trash. Absolute freaking trash from March of the Machine. They have literally opened a March of the Machine box and then just chucked all of the red-white Boros cards in together. There is stuff in here that is to do with, like, you know, this one here. Take control of a creature. This is some kind of weird, like, you know, incubate stuff. There's incubate stuff throughout here. There's, like, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff that is just so unsynergistic that, if someone buys this, I really feel bad for them, because they are getting essentially someone's trash pile of stuff that includes, like, you know, if we have a look on the last page, there's some stuff in here that's not March of the Machine as well. So they've clearly, like, gone and be like, okay, we've got to add a little bit of stuff that's kind of synergistic in here, which is like this last page. All of this stuff here, this one here has to do with knights, which is not helpful as well. So they went and added a tiny little bit of synergistic stuff in this last page here, but it's just not worth it in any way. Anyway, you are not going to get the worth of this. And including the fact that there is... Oh my god!